Shalom family, welcome back. So let's continue where we left off. Revelations 10. But let's set the tone first. Second Esdras 14 and 34. If you then will rule over your minds and discipline your hearts, you shall be kept alive, and after death you shall obtain mercy. For after death the judgment will come, when we shall live again. And then the names of the righteous shall become manifest, and the deeds of the ungodly shall be disclosed. But let no one come to me now, and let no one seek me for 40 days. Second Esdras 15 and 1. Speak in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy that I will put in your mouth, says the Father. Speak in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy that I will put in your mouth, says the Father, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true. Do not fear the plots against you. Do not fear the plots against you. And do not be troubled by the unbelief of those who oppose you. No more getting heartbroken. For all unbelievers shall die in their unbelief. That's one thing I said towards the end of last year. I'm not getting heartbroken by these people anymore. No more. You will hear the message. We will show you. We will ask you if you understand what's happening in the world. And as things unfold, we will talk to you about it. And then we will show you, have you read this? Have you read that? Have you read this? We will tell you how to find yourselves. Read this, read that. This book is speaking to you. Read it. And I don't even bother checking up on people anymore. Because for us, if you've pointed out certain chapters, certain books in the Bible, and you say to people, read it, and they don't come back to you with questions and wanted to say, wow, 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 especially like Deuteronomy 28, then you know they haven't bothered to read it. That's in the past. I spent my first few years getting heartbroken by people who didn't watch the videos, who haven't bothered to open the book, and getting heartbroken. No more. No more. It's easy to tell. Certain things are easy to tell now. How can you not read this and come running back to the person who asked you to read that, pretending that you're interested, and not come back with questions or come back with your mind blown? It's just, yeah, whatever. Ain't getting heartbroken by these things no more. It's too late in these last days. You can always tell who's reading, who's learning, who's understanding, who's taking that time. If you want to carry on watching nonsense on social media, fair enough. I recommended you loads of stuff. I told you what to read in the book. That's it, I'm done. It's up to you now. You see, that's why they're really desperate to control social media. Because they're upset now. Because a lot of us aren't using it just for foolishness and shenanigans and D'ing around. We're using it to ring the bell. We're using it to dismantle nonsense. we're counteracting what they use it for. Shrapnel from their own propaganda, trying to stop you from having your own voice. Employers especially. You're still not going to stop us from bringing out this truth, because that's what social media was for in the first place, for us to have a voice, for us to have our own space. And now you don't like it because we got our own, we sharing stuff, we asking the right questions, we breaking stuff down, and you really don't like it. They don't like it. Especially with organizations and companies. They did you wrong, they screwed you over. You know, people like us, we haven't got employment lawyers and all this stuff. So we go on social media to tell our truth, how we got screwed over. And employers don't like it. They put you on the list. You'll never be employed again. Endless Masonic connections and such and such. And it's not even about all the big industries. Because as in a group of bullies, if you don't go along with the big one, you're kicked out of the group. If you don't go along with the most popular one, you're kicked out. They're all in it together. They don't like you telling the truth. They want to continue saying everything's amazing. Oh, we do this, and blah, blah, blah. We're taking care of the world. We're doing the right thing. Sustainability targets. But when you do an employee wrong and they get on social media and they tell you, well, actually they do this and they do that and then they do this, and they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like truth. That rant has just prompted me. It's just prompted me. Sorry, just moving in the spirit right now. So, remember I was talking about the truth and those three guys who were talking about wisdom to try and gain the king's favor. And it talked about how, which one, they were saying which one's the strongest. And Zerubbabel said, yeah, women are strongest and blah, blah, blah. And I said I will save the truth bit for later. So it's just come to me, it's just prompted. Hallelujah. And just strong forever, this forever, and else forever. So, the king agreed, yes, women are stronger. And then the such said, then the king and the nobles looked at one another and began to speak about truth. Gentlemen, are not women strong? The earth is vast and heaven is high, and the sun is swift in its course. For it makes the circuit of the heavens and returns to its place in one day. Is not the one who does these things great, but truth is great and stronger than all these things. The whole earth calls upon truth, and heaven blesses it. All good works quake and tremble. All God's works quake and tremble, and with him there is nothing unrighteous. Wine is unrighteous, the king is unrighteous, women are unrighteous, all human beings are unrighteous, all their works are unrighteous, and all such things. There is no truth in them, and in their unrighteousness they will perish. But truth endures and is strong forever, and lives and prevails and lives and prevails forever and ever. With it there is no partiality or preference, but it does what is righteous instead of anything that is unrighteous or wicked. Everyone approves its deeds, and there is nothing unrighteous in its judgment. To it belongs the strength and the kingship and the power and the majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. When he stopped speaking, all the people shouted and said, "Great is truth and strongest of all." So, Revelation 10. So it goes into, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven and clothed in a cloud, and a rainbow upon his head, and his face was as it was the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had the little book, and he set his right hand upon the sea and another foot upon the earth. And he cried with a loud voice, as a lion roareth, and the seven thunders uttered, and such and such and such. And I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, "Seal up those things which the heaven and the thunders uttered. Write them not." So it goes on to blah 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 blah, so on and so on. No disrespect, but I'm just trying to move on. Otherwise, I'll just end up reading this whole thing. But I'm just trying to get to the points which are undeniable, which we need to know, which we need to see, know what we're seeing. I mean, no disrespect to these scriptures. And I know what we're like. People saying, "Oh, he's adding and he's taking away," and and it's like, so, and then it goes on to the angel gives him the little book, which is sweet to the mouth but bitter on the belly. So all these things which we know of and we're learning about, the prophets, the judgments, the tribulations about to unfold for Christians and Hebrews and believers alike, it all sounds good, like Christians are waiting to be whisked up to heaven and avoid all this. Sweet on the mouth. But when it starts happening, if they would realize what this book really says, and when it all starts happening, they realize they're not whisked off, bitter on the stomach. When you're digesting this. For Hebrews, it sounds great, judgment of the nations, the wrath of Yah, we're going home, blah, blah, blah. But as we've seen during all these things, Revelations 9, we're still around. We still have to refuse the mark. Certain point in this book, some people get whisked off, but I can't help noticing that it still says the saints are still around at this time. So I see that, I don't know, I see this as certain people going off, marriage supper, such and such. But some people are still around. How can you, like I said with the locusts, they're not allowed to sting people who are sealed, which means that we're still here. going through this. For Hebrews, yeah, the judgment of the nations, such and such, and blah, blah, blah. But when we see it, when we see the death, the destruction, and the suffering, it's going to hit us here. Like, it's not going to be nothing to rejoice over. And it's not. It's not. This book is deadly serious, man. It's deadly serious. Sometimes I think we spend too much time arguing over, oh, no, it means this, no, it means that, no, it means this, instead of thinking, look what's actually happening here. Look what's actually happening here. And it's going to tear us apart. And those who are rejoicing, like you, and enjoying it, you must be wicked, man. Seriously. Seriously. I mean, fair enough. It might sound bad to say, but sometimes you want these people to get their recompense. The truly wicked of the earth. You know, those who are going to run and hide. But as for the normal people, it's not going to be nice, man. It's not. It's going to be horrifying. Sweet to taste that we're going into the kingdom and there'll be peace on the earth and no more. But the whole process is pain and suffering and tribulation. It's not just words on paper, and sometimes we talk about it like it's just words on paper, and we're not really thinking. We're not really thinking. Just like I say, people don't really think about the saints have to die as well. Some of the saints have to die. People don't really think about that. And people will die before this. Isaiah 57. The righteous man dies even through wickedness, save him from the evil to come. We see these things. And it's a bit hard to take. It's like my mum told me my auntie died recently. She didn't die in a good way. But that's the first thing that came into my mind. Righteous people die to save them from the wickedness to come. She didn't die in a good way, man. Where was I? Let's go to 11. Okay. And there was given me a reed, like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yah, and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is in without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. You see, these are decisive factors. The temple. And like I said, we can argue about these things all the time. Like, oh, the temple is the body and blah, blah, blah. If the temple is the body and the mark of the beast, which the mark of the beast is the temple, then we know what the mark of the beast was or is. I was so like so sure, but I just have to keep my mind open to these things because it's a good argument. It really is. That it is a good argument. He that sits himself in the temple saying, I am God. We think physical temple, but then in a spiritual sense, our body is the temple. There's just so many questions, man. The holy city shall they tread under foot 40 and 2 months, 3.5 years. And I will give power unto my witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days. Clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and 2 candlesticks standing before Yah of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Like I said before, this is why they monitor our channels closely. They are watching us. They want to find these people. They don't know. People say Moses and Elijah and such and such. Some people say, no, this is groups of people. Personally, I believe it is 2 people. But it's tough. It's tough. But I think, what's the narrative when they're going to say it? Will it be, will we know that they're here? Will they be able to communicate with us? This is why they must control social media. Because if anybody snapshots that, if anybody gets a video of something like that, okay, these people they're being attacked, or they're trying to capture these people, and then fire proceeds out of their mouth and just burns up these people who are attacking the 2 witnesses. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket. They can't have that being uploaded, and they have to control it if they want to use it. So they can cut out everything that happened up until that point and just show from the moment that fire proceeded out of their mouth and they got burnt up. Terrorists, terrorists, terrorists. They're evil, they're evil, they're evil. These are demons, blah, blah, blah. Controlling the narrative. We see that on social media all the time. 10-second clip, whole story behind it. Searching, listening, and watching. Waiting for people to prophesy. Trying to see if what we're saying is coming true. If you say something and it comes true, and it comes true, and it comes true, they shut you down. They will shut you down. Somehow, some way. Will it be heard? This is why the waters are so muddy right now. Yes, the scriptures say your sons will prophesy and old men will dream dreams. Especially during the eclipse. It just got ridiculous, man. It was so ridiculous. But what will happen to you if you prophesy something that comes true? Oh, that's a coincidence. Second time, oh, we better keep an eye on this guy. 3 times. You see, when it is happening, that's why I link it to saints disappearing, the saints who have to die. Because when you actually are prophesying and you actually are dreaming dreams and they're coming true, they'll want to shut you down. And this is why also why sometimes I believe that these things are left open. Maybe one person has got it right, but not one person is going to get everything right. It's to keep the enemies guessing, to keep them in panic and derision until, if it is Moses and Elijah, until they come. And they might have elusive powers. You know, like how Jesus just, how Yahusha just faded away that time when they came for him and they were going to throw him off the cliff. And he was just elusive. He just faded away and everybody was just left blinking. Where did he go? And that's why everybody's so happy when they die. Because everything they said came true. And also they were so elusive, they couldn't be captured, they couldn't be followed, they couldn't be monitored. And it was just so frustrating for all the agencies. And all the people who try to mansplain everything away, they were just made to look stupid. As the scriptures say, making wise men into fools. Wow, time. Sorry, I'm going on a bit, but okay, where were we? And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man to hurt them, they must be killed in this manner. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, climate change, and have power over waters to turn them to blood. You can just hear it now. Oh, well, the warming of the planet has caused some kind of chemical reaction into the seas. And it has caused some kind of algae, some kind of red algae. And have power over the waters to turn them to blood and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. You see the scientists, you can just see it now, man. You can hear it. This new type of algae because the temperatures of the waters and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But if you know about this prophecy, you will see it and you will know. And they can't bamboozle you. And they shall have finished their test. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Now it's time to die, and there's a reason for that. Because the Most High has a point to prove. He's about to perform another wonder. So each time you try to explain it away. Okay, I'll show you again. Okay, I'll show you again. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Adonai was crucified. So this lets us know where the land actually is now. No arguments, no disputes. We will know, because that's where the two witnesses died. Where also our Messiah was crucified. And they of the people and the kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves. So we shall know. It's not going to be so great mystery. And the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their bodies. Remember, the whole world's really pissed about this. They've prophesied, they haven't been able to catch them. Everything they said has come true. They've smite the earth with plagues. They stopped the rain. And this is why they're celebrating. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And after 3.5 days, the spirit of life from Yah entered into them. Now, the reason for them dying, finally getting caught up with and dying. Just like Yahusha, there was a reason for his death. Walk to your death. Because there's purpose in it. If we knew what our future holds, will we walk to our deaths? Some things are just best left. Let it play out. But you're being bold and courageous, and you're not fearing, so you walk to your death. And after 3 days, and the life of God entered them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. The Most High is showing us again. Now is the time where I'm showing you great wonders. I'm showing you great works. The truth is your choice. But they're ready for you. Aliens, climate change, pandemics. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Elohim of heaven. Now you know. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory unto God of heaven. See, now you know. Now you know. For sure. but many people have already perished in their unbelief. Do you want to be in that remnant which is left over? And the question is, why are you left over in that remnant? For every eye to see and for every knee to bow. We will get these answers. We will know. You didn't believe this, but now you're left over. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Father and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders which sat before Yah on their seats fell upon their faces and worshipped Yah, saying, we give thanks, we give thee thanks, O Father Yah, Almighty, which art and wast and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they shall be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto the servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the nations were angry, and destroy them which destroy the earth. Nations. This is what people don't understand, Ivan. This just, it's clear. Nations. The question is, which nations? Which nations? If you believe nothing but the 6 o'clock news, then they're leading you to believe that this is the Muslims. It's unsaid. It's all done through imagery, through Hollywood, through narratives. It's obvious. And through who you think these people are, the children of Israel. By certain people being the children of Israel, obviously you're going to think, yeah, this is the Muslims, the nations. But when it's us, this is why nobody will admit it's us. Because when it's us, this book becomes obvious. This is why I commend these people of European descent who are in this truth. It's quite remarkable, and it's a beautiful thing, who are ready to speak our truth and are standing in our truth and have given their life to Yeshua, and they're ready for the kingdom and to worship Yah. I pray for you guys. You know, it really is commendable, and it's remarkable, because the greatest truth the Muslims have is our truth, but they don't use it. And I'm just baffled. The people who are speaking our truth seem to be the ones that some of us want to hate the most. I have no words for it. I have no words for it. The greatest weapon they have is our truth, and they don't use it. I have no words for it. But yet there's a few people who are able to go through what we're going through and see the similarities and have submitted like we've submitted. And they're swallowing a lot of pride. It's remarkable. And the temple of Yah was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. So now it talks about the dragon and the dragon coming down. And it appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them down to the earth. And it talks about the dragon chasing the woman and the woman bringing forth the man-child, who is Yahusha, and such, and it's like 2 different ages this talks about. And now it's chasing the woman flees into the wilderness. And there are wars in heaven. Michael fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. And the great dragon was Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them down to the earth. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Stars, angels, angels, stars. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength to the kingdom of Yah, the power of his Christ, the accuser of his brethren cast down, which accused them before Yah day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. Walking to your death. We can only pray that we have the courage just to keep walking. Just to keep walking in the midst of all this madness, all this death and destruction. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman which bore forth the man child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for times and a half from the face of the serpent. That's the Exodus. We gone now. Which I hope we're gone. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. The serpent cast water out of his mouth after the woman, she might cause her to be carried away by the flood. Tsunami. And the earth helped the woman and opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the earth helped the woman and opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Now remember, we just went through this last week. Places that are sown becoming unsown. Haven't we just been reading about earthquakes as well? Great earthquakes. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Christ. (13). So more stuff which we can argue about all day long. About which kingdoms, which nations, which are against the children of Israel. Which kingdoms, which nations. And they worship the dragon. You see, this is important. Which narrative are you going to run with? Are you going to believe what you're seeing? Or are you going to believe aliens, pandemics, climate change? Or are you going to understand and believe what you're seeing? Are you going to now bend the knee and submit? Are you going to stop fighting? And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? So whether we think the beast is a man or a nation, which, like I said, I keep my mind open, so my mind isn't fixed on certain things and we get it wrong. That's the mistakes of the past. It can be both together. It's a man in charge of a nation. The parallels, the copycatting of the evil one. We have our king and our leader. They need theirs. The panic and the derision, their master's here now to lead them. They've hated all the things that have unraveled. They've hated the truth. They didn't want to admit it. It's actually happening. It's all unfolding. And now their master's here. Yay! They're all in now. All in. Is that you? And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. See, the beast was wounded, whether that's a country or a man, and then the deadly wound was healed. So if it is a country or nations, it seemed like they were finished. But they're still here, they're still fighting, they're still standing. If it is a man, he was wounded. We all thought, yep, he's been assassinated. But then all of a sudden, he's back. And now everyone's like, yeah, we're undefeated. Nobody can beat us. Let's stand with him. Yeah, this guy. He's come to save us. Selah. Where? Who? Which nations? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Blasphemies. Let's get out my 35-year-old dictionary. Blasphemy. Talk or act reviling sacred person or thing. Blaspheme, revile, speak profanely, sacred person or thing. Talk impiously. Straight up disrespect. Being arrogant. Sheer insolence. Doesn't want to believe what's happening. Lies, 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 lies. We can do this. We are man. Man has done great things. We are in control of our own destinies. Blah, blah, blah. But then again, it might just be some straight up lie. Oh, these aliens have come to take over our planet. We will not go quietly into the night. Sorry, it's not funny. Sorry, I'm playing. This is deadly serious, sorry. He opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them which dwell in heaven. Here you see the Marvel characters in the Marvel films. Thanos and Apocalypto. They make them to be the bad guys. But what these guys have come to do is it's they do the same with with the Black Panther. Warmonger sounds like the bad guy. And T'Challa's the good guy. And that makes me think, why so many brothers have turned down the role of in the new Black Panther movie. I'm wondering why? Why is everybody turning down this role? Is it because of the script? Is it because of the storyline? Have they got T'Challa acting like some kind of raccoon? And brothers are like, no, that's not me, bruv. The Israelites will rip me apart if I. Sorry, off subject, but what was I saying? Like the Marvel characters, Thanos and Apocalypto. Independence Day, gearing you up to fight against Yah, to fight against God. There we go, that's better. Too bright. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to recharge. Where were we? Okay, yeah. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So now, because of what's been happening on the earth, everyone's given their power. Yeah, let's do this. So we're all under one general, one leader. Let's fight against God. Or, like I say, there could be a certain narrative. Aliens. I've seen in this book angels flying up and down the place and hearing voices from heaven. Is it just a voice? Or are we seeing things in the skies? Look up, Great signs and wonders. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And that all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man heareth, let him hear. Listen to this. But after saying all that, if any man heareth, let him hear. Revelations 13 and 9. After saying all that, and then, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. Do I need to say anything else? And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many who would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Is why we got to know and understand. Because the narrative can also be like, yay, Jesus is here. He's performing, he's come, He has a plan. He's united the whole earth. He's done miracles. He's caused an image to speak. And now those who refuse to worship should be killed. So if people believe that this is now the Messiah, and they're refusing to bend the knee, you're the evil ones. You don't want to worship Jesus. This is the Messiah. He's here, blah, blah, blah. This is why Yahusha constantly talked about deception. Be sure that no man deceiveth thee. Know what you're seeing. Know what you're reading. Know what nations. Know who the real people are. And he calls us all, both great, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Herein is wisdom. Let him that understand the count of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I'll leave that for the elders, those who are gnawing on the bones. They're past milk, they're past meat. I'll leave stuff for the elders, man. And I'm not going to argue about these things and try this and say that. Just leave it to people who are more learned than I am. And more learned than others who think but these are going to be hidden things. I don't know, I don't know. Because as we're seeing, they're getting more and more brazen in the world. They're not hiding anymore. I've gone way over time. I've read things that I didn't even plan to read. So 14, let's just get straight into 14. 14, 6 to 12. So Revelation 14, now it's all said and done. This is it now. It's time. Everything is unraveled. People have been deceived, even though they were constantly warned. Everybody's made their choice now. Now it's time for Yahusha, the Messiah, to saddle up. Gear up. Then I looked, and behold, the Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 men who had his name and his father's name inscribed on their foreheads. Now it's time. I didn't even plan to read this, but I have questions here as well, so I'm going to go. And I heard a voice from heaven, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voices of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers and harping with their harps, And they sang as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and before the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Many questions. So some people, so many different explanations over this. So many different explanations. I just leave it because it doesn't really matter. If you're chosen in the 144,000, you're chosen in the 144,000. What's the point in arguing over it? And what does it mean, and blah, 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 and who are these people? Oh, this is just people who died during the tribulation. No, these are people who have died over the ages. Now, I can get that, as it says, which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. How many brothers today are virgins? And yet they're not even believers, or they're Christians. How many Hebrew brothers are virgins? I've heard a certain sister adamant in her teaching, telling brothers, no, you can't be the 144,000 because they're virgins. You men ain't virgins. But these are they which are not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Keep reading. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yah and to the Lamb. These were redeemed from among men. Can a man become undefiled? Can a woman win back her virtue? Redeemed from among men. First fruits unto Yah. So, are they now living these statutes and commandments? No longer in the world, no longer on the dating scene, no longer fornicating, no longer girlfriend and boyfriend. We understand husband and wife. There's no such thing as girlfriend and boyfriend, husband and wife. We come out of Babylon. We're done. Some of us are like, do you know what? It's just best to wait for the kingdom. Like, I'm done. I want to get this right. Plus, I don't want to raise children here. So we saving ourselves. Can a man become undefiled? Can a woman win back her virtue? Redeemed from among men. Yes, it does say these are virgins. Now, if we're talking about the 144,000 being selected from all the people from down the ages, that's totally understandable. I'm sure you can gather 12,000 from every tribe who had never felt the warmth of a woman, so to speak. Because throughout the ages, people were living in the way. Like the 7 brothers from the book of Maccabees, who stood strong. And did not eat the swine's flesh for a great name and a robe and a place in the courts. And they tortured brother after brother after brother after brother and they all stood strong and went to their deaths. Because in that story, it doesn't talk about wives, it talks about a mother and her 7 sons. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Like, yeah, who knows if you're part of the 144,000? Doesn't matter. You either are or you ain't. It's nothing we should argue about and get all. If you're chosen, you're chosen. Yah chooses who he chooses. You know what I mean? And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yah. 14:6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Excuse me. Saying with a loud voice, Fear Yah, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. Pleading with you, begging with you, pleading with you. The time has come. Bend the knee, submit. They're saddling up here in the heavens. They're coming. They're girded. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon has fallen. Is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink the wine of the wrath because of her fornication. Now, will the fall of Babylon be televised? Maybe, maybe not. Will we know? It might be even be in that same moment Babylon is falling that the rest of the earth is being told, look, we destroyed this place. We took that whore down. And the angel cried with a mighty voice, Revere God and give him glory, honor and praise and worship, for the hour of his judgment has arrived. Fall down before him and pay homage. Come and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And there followed him another angel saying, Babylon has fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And then the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, being warned again, like being warned, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yah, which is poured out with mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Think about that. If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark. You see, there's still time. There's still warning there. There's still warning. It hasn't happened yet. Babylon is fallen, but the rest of the earth is being warned. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're done if you do this. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Psalm 75:8. Come on, man. I just love it when I love it when a plan comes together. Sorry, I just love this word. This is deadly serious, but I just get excited about this sometimes, especially when it just. We read this the other day. Psalm 75 and 8. For in the hand of the Father there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture. And he poureth out the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. For the hand of the Father there is a cup. In the hand of the Father there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture. And he poureth out the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. That's Psalms 75 and 8. Revelations 14 and 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured without mixture, undiluted, full strength, which is poured without mixture unto the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, and in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. Fire and brimstone, full strength. It's the end. This is it. It's done. The warnings. This is it. Mans are girded up. They're saddling up. They're coming. Full strength. The cup is being poured out. Psalm 78 with mixture. Revelation without mixture. Full strength. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Full strength. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yah and the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach. If you take that mark, there's no going back. Severe warning right here. That's it. I didn't even plan a part 3, but there have to be a part 3.